Hey, Shalom Akim. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Also, I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that ruled well and taught us this truth. And as always, peace, love, many blessings unto the elect. This is the brother Itazawam coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai with another lesson. And Lord willing, I hope and pray that it's edifying. Okay? This picture that I have up here on the screen is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. All right, and at first glance, he takes on the physical appearance of an Edomite. Okay, he looks like an Edomite. Nothing about him yells Israelite, but this is definitely a Jake. Okay, this is definitely a Jake. His father is a Jake and his mother is an Edomite, and this ties all the way into the breakdown of the Gentiles written of in the New Testament that the Apostle Paul, Yahweh Shai, and Peter was speaking about. Okay, it was a mystery that those Hellenized Greeks could be Israelites, because through the process of marrying into the Edomite family under the Greek kingdom, you had Jake's seeds that was left among the Edomites, and through the process of time they began to take on the physical features of Edom. But indeed their spirit, through their father's side, their lineage goes back to Jake. And this is just a prime example. So imagine if this individual right here had a white wife or Edomite wife and had a child. This child is going to come out looking more like an Edomite, but their spirit goes back to this man. All right, this is their father right here. Okay, on the left, that's Mike McDaniel, and that's his father. Okay, so if you look, you wouldn't even be able to tell that they're biologically related, but this is that man's seed. Okay, and that's what the scriptures is talking about when we deal with the Gentiles. Okay, so this is not a hard breakdown. It was a mystery. The Lord closed the eyes of people to be able to receive this part of the gospel, but only the elect really will understand this. See, a lot of people fumble and they have time, they have a hard time understanding this breakdown, but really it's all spiritual. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, then this is definitely one thing that's not super complicated to understand. Okay, this is the father, that's his son, and your pedigree and your nationality is declared by the father, regardless of what nation the mother is. The seed of man constitutes the nationality. Okay, so you see, they look nothing. They don't even resemble. Okay, they may have, if you know them personally, you may be able to spot out certain physical resemblances, maybe their eyes or their nose or their jawbone, or they may have certain they may act alike. Okay, but on the outside looking in, you wouldn't even be able to tell that this is father and son. And that's the mystery of the Gentiles. So let's get into the scriptures. This is the book of Romans chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. Okay, so back then there was a common understanding that the Jews were a melanated people. And they were. Okay, we can't deny the fact that the so-called African-American man that was dwelling, I'm going to just say it like this. We can't deny the fact that the Jews were of a melanated complexion. All right, different tones and shades of brown. Okay, that's undeniable. But when you go deeper into it, the tribe of Judah, Levi, Benjamin, so on and so forth, left their seed among other nations, and through process of time, their seed began to take on the physical features of other nations. It's just that simple. Okay, and there's going to be a remnant of those people in these latter times that's going to return to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and receive salvation. So the Lord doesn't judge one on an outwardly appearance. The Lord doesn't say, hey, you're black enough to be delivered. Okay, or you're chocolate enough to be delivered. No, there's going to be some people that ain't going to have no melanin that's going to be delivered over people that have melanin. Okay. Verse 28 again, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. Okay. So the circumcision in these times is the spiritual circumcision. Okay, those that are being purified and cleansed by the word of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, because that was a custom of the Jews, the circumcision. Okay, that was a custom. You would circumcise your boy on the 8th day, to cleanse, his his genitalia, to keep the germs out. That was a custom of the Jews. But now it's a spiritual cleansing or circumcision that's happening to the elect. And a lot of those that are going to be spiritually circumcised are going to be Gentiles. Verse 29, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, meaning spiritually, and circumcision is that of the heart, meaning your mind. Okay, because a lot of people's mentality is being purified by the washing of the word. Like the scripture says in Romans, the 12th chapter, it says, be ye transformed by the what? The renewing of your mind. And that's what's happening right now across the globe. The renewal of the minds of the saints of the Most High. Okay. So in the latter times, you're going to start to see more and more believers that's going to come, and they're going to have a very unconventional physical appearance. But besides what you commonly see, related to the Hebrew Israelites. Okay. And that's why, the elite and all these other people not going to be able to really technically plan us as racists. Okay. Because we have brothers that look like other nations. Okay. The brother in Nashville, in the GMS Nashville camp, Malachi. Okay. That brother, takes on the physical appearance of an Edomite. But hey, man, that brother is be out there blazing on the highways and byways. He's been in for a number of years now. Okay. And so many countless others. All right. So it says, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but the Most High. So that's going to be a real game changer when the Lord brings multitudes of Jakes from all these other nations, because that was a part of the curses, that we be scattered among all people on the face of the earth. So you got Jakes in Russia, Czechoslovakia, Armenia, Bosnia, Bulgaria. Okay, you got Jakes all throughout the Middle East and Turkey, Iraq. Okay, you got Jakes in Japan, China. You got Jakes in throughout Africa, Kush. That's blended in with the Cushites. Okay, the Canaanites. You got Jake mingled in with the Japhites. Jake is everywhere. As a matter of fact, let me get that scripture. Okay, because the Lord mingled his seed among the children of men and among the children of the wicked. Okay, so let's get this scripture real quick. Isaiah 11:11. This is a classic scripture, but nonetheless powerful. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time. What was the first time? When the Lord delivered the children of Israel out of the hand of the Egyptians. Okay, now the second time is going to come in the times that we live in now. The Lord is going to deliver his children by way of the UFOs, which in the Bible identifies them as the chariots. Okay. It says that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros. Okay. Which these are all other nations. So the remnant of the Lord's people are among these nations, and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. So you got Israelites on the islands. You got Israelites among the heathens. You got Israelites in the wilderness. Jake is every goddamn where. Okay. But the Lord is going to bring the believers out of these nations, and that's going to be a game changer. Okay. That's going to be a spiritual game changer, because what they're trying to put on us right now is we're black extremists or black identity extremists. Okay. BIE. Okay. But we not about black. We never pushed the spirit of black. Or we're pro. I'm not pro black. I'm not for black people. Never, and you'll never find a video where I advocate for black people. We advocate for the Jews, the Hebrew Israelites, which are predominantly dark skinned, but then you got a lot of Jakes that ain't dark skinned. You got light skinned Jakes. So we're not pro-black here. Okay? We're for the elect of Israel, it don't matter how they look. Okay? They can look like a straight up and down Hamite. If they of the elect of Israel, that's who we for. Okay? Verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, because that's what the word alien means. It means foreigner or outcast. And they're a foreigner or outcast from what? From the commonwealth of Israel, meaning they didn't grow up with the understanding that they were Hebrew Israelites. So they were considered outcasts of Israel. But nonetheless, they had every right to our heritage, to the ministry, to the belief, the faith, the service, and so on and so forth that the conventional Jews had, or those of the circumcision. They had the same access. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. There's no different access point for the circumcised Jews and the uncircumcised. Okay? It's all the same thing. And that was why the gospel had to be preached. Okay? And it says, verse 12 again, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, meaning they're everywhere. The dispersed of Judah, they're all over the earth. So just because you are African American don't mean that you the only Jews. You got Jews that's still in Nigeria. The Jews are not just only African Americans. They are the Jews, but you have Jews everywhere. You have Jews that are amongst the Italians. Okay? You have Jews that are amongst the Sicilians. You have Jews that are amongst the Turkish. Okay? It's not that hard to understand. All right? As a matter of fact, let's get into the curses to show how we even got into this condition. This is the curses written of in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay? So we were scattered, man. We were delivered into the hands of the enemies all over the earth. Okay? As a curse from the Most High. And we worship their gods and their deities. We took on their cultures. We took on their physical appearance. We took on their daughters. And then even the heathen laid seed in our daughters and brought forth their seed. Okay, so you got heathens out here that look like so-called Negroes that's actually fucking heathens. Okay, so that's how you know it's a spiritual. This thing has to be spiritually discerned. Okay, it's of the spirit. The matter of fact, the Lord told us, blessed are your eyes for they see, and blessed are your ears for they hear. See, a lot of people back then, they couldn't understand the mystery of the Gentiles because the Lord didn't open their eyes to it. But the Lord opened our eyes to be able to see that mystery. And because we believe it, we preach. Okay? We're able to receive that mystery that a lot of people can't receive because they're just too pro-black. They're just blacked out. Which is a stronghold that was really put on us by Esau. Okay, that melanated being that's a demon. Okay, it's not about being melanated. You got people that's going to be ultra melanated that's not even going to get delivered. Okay, so that was a curse. That was a curse that happened to us that befell us as a people. So through that curse and process, in the process of time and constantly dwelling among these people from generation to generation, the physical appearance gets altered, and that's what made us, or the Gentiles, should I say, outcast. So let me get this last scripture before I close it out. I haven't read it in a while. Let's see, what is it? Colossians 2. What is that scripture? Ephesians 2. All right, Ephesians 2 and 11. It says, wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, meaning the Gentiles in the flesh means that you were a stranger according to how your flesh looked. Okay. A lot of our people look like the actual Greeks. So that made their flesh, they look like Gentiles. It says, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision. So you had those Jakes that were of the circumcision that were calling those Gentiles, which were Jews, the uncircumcision. Okay. And the flesh, Shalakin, is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand. Verse 12. That at that time ye were without Hamashiach. Because remember, there was a great awakening of the Gentiles. You had Jakes, devout men, Jews dwelling among every nation that was coming down, to Jerusalem. Okay, so they were devout believers, but they were dwelling among other nations. All right, it says being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. Okay, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope, and without the Most High in the world. But now in Yahushua Hamashiach, ye who sometimes were afar off are made nigh to the blood of Hamashiach. So the Lord has brought them into the sacrifice just as much as he did the Jews that believed in him, that were of the circumcision. Okay, so I wanted to use that picture as an example of a actual Gentile that he probably don't know he's an Israelite, and if you go 100 years down the line and his seed continues to have children with so-called white women, they would probably never know that they had an actual forefather that looked like that. Okay, that's why it's a spiritual thing. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Kakodash. Double honors once more to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, many blessings to the elect. Shalom.